Hi, I'm Fennelly. I'm Director of Commercial Operations here at GreenLite. We are a tech-enabled permitting solutions service. So I started my career right here in New York City. I was working on projects all across New York, but mostly along the Brooklyn waterfront. I did some large campus developments along there, and it was really cool to look across the river and see all the buildings that I've worked on. Contributing back to that built environment and seeing a change in the New York skyline and knowing that was my work always made me really proud and always wanting to keep doing more in the construction industry. I've done some really complex utility permitting in that same area of Brooklyn along the waterfront where when you open up the ground, it's like a spaghetti of pipes and different cables and networks, and navigating those challenges in difficult soil conditions and historic streets was something that I've navigated through with multiple different agencies, and working on really complex projects like that have helped shape me to be the engineer that I am today. I worked on a specific intersection in Brooklyn where we were building out a brand new street, and we had to connect into a historic street that had been there for a very long time. And so we were working with a specific agency to build out a sewer and water main, and there was just so many different processes in that entire permitting experience. Everything from the actual calculations, the sizing, the foundational elements of how we were going to install and connect that, to actually getting it built. And this all actually happened during COVID as well, which was like an additional layer of complexity on top of all of that. You always get really tied to the projects that you're doing because you want the best for them, you wanted them to succeed. And so when you hit a roadblock, it can be very discouraging, and you're trying to always put as much as you can your energy to help resolve those issues, not only for your own benefit, but for your client as well, and to continue to provide the best service possible. And so whenever those challenges came up, we would always try and assess the problem from all angles, make sure we understood the complexity or issues that we were facing, and provide services and solutions as quickly and effectively as possible. Sometimes jurisdictions look at plans and they miss information right within the plan set, and so they are either not navigating the plan set correctly, they're not able to find information as the way that we would want to see it presented. And so sometimes when we get, comments or objections from them, we're actually able to quickly resolve these things because we can help guide them and connect with them up front and say, hey, the information you're looking for is right here in this plan set, and sort of re-guide them behind the scenes so that we can get through those objections without them actually becoming official or things that we have to address in a more formal manner. I wanted more. I wanted to be able to take the skill sets and my ability to think and solve problems as an engineer and apply it to a new industry. And instead of going new, I kind of went adjacent into this real estate prop tech startup world and was able to completely transfer my skill set, still talk about construction every single day, and put my engineering hat on in a different way. As a civil engineer, I was working, kind of in a land development role, and I was in the luxury residential home building space at that time. And I was working with our sales team and training them. I was working with the product team for the first time and learning how to speak product and design requirements. And then, yes, working with the operational components as well, how we were actually going to execute the builds and projects that we were doing there. And so kind of getting a flavor of all those different aspects and components of a startup at that stage really helped me to understand how businesses are emerged, how they build, and how startups can grow and mature over time. I learned a lot about growing and building teams there and speaking to product teams for sure. And so that was my first time really interacting with software engineers and product designers, and learning how to speak product and kind of communicate in the way that they like to be communicated to was a whole new skill set that I really had to learn, something that we use here every day because we have a very collaborative effort with our product team today with operations. Permitting is a problem that I've felt in my entire career. Civil engineering specifically has very long lead permitting times, so you can be on a project with permitting challenge for months to up to even years. And so to see that someone was trying to solve it in a different way for building permits specifically, I really related to the issue, and I knew that the ability to interact with consultants and our clients on this side of the aisle and putting, again, industry professionals who have felt and understand this problem as well on the other side to assist them and work with them and collaborate would be an effective way to solve this problem, not just software, but as a service powered by the software. I think in the construction industry, we're very relationships oriented. So at the end of the day, developers, architects, engineers want to be speaking to people who understand and can help and assist them. And to do that right now directly through a software platform is not the approach that GreenLite takes. So when you're coming on to GreenLite, you're going to get assigned to a project manager and a full team here dedicated to support you and your project and deliver outcomes for your team. And so we still are very relationship heavy with all of our clients, and we use our data and our ability to execute to power that service to deliver those outcomes. From the moment you sign a sales contract with GreenLite, we have a kickoff meeting with you. We get to know your team. We've already understood your pain points from what you've experienced and explained to our sales team, and we really take in and understand those things so we can start to solve and unlock those problems across the process. Whether that would be issues kicking off projects and kind of starting off on the wrong foot, issues with submissions and missing items and kind of catching things downstream. Sometimes clients have problems where they are trying to resolve comments. They're not able to efficiently clear those objections. And sometimes clients get held up right at the very end of the process where they've got approvals and they can't figure out the fees and scheduling in order to get their permit issued. So we really try and unlock and look at the entire process and know exactly where your pain points are, identify them, and exactly jump in on what we need to do to solve them. When I look at candidates, I try and get a breadth of experience across the board. I think everyone can bring a different perspective to the permitting problem, whether that be architects, engineers, past project managers, even people who've worked at jurisdictions. They're all a part of our team, and they all bring their varying perspectives that are super applicable here to the problems that we're solving. Diversity in thought is what makes a strong team, and so having those varying perspectives, we cross-collaborate a lot, and we can ask each other questions. So if there's any holes or gaps in technical skill set or knowledge, we're able to actually collaborate really well with each other to kind of fill those in and address the problems that our clients have. We look for a combination of both technical skill set and soft skills. Yeah, no, my team teaches me things every single day. Again, because no one perspective is more important than another, they are boots on the ground. They're out there executing and bringing back important data and knowledge to our team, and we can kind of grow and learn from that. And so because they're the ones out there kind of fielding and understanding the issues that we see with all these different jurisdictions, we can then bring that back internally, better refine our processes, and enhance exactly how we can approach things the next time. I have a thesis that we should be able to execute on a permit anywhere across the country, and I know that we can do that effectively with the process that we've set up here today. You have a deep understanding of code references, jurisdictional knowledge, regional expertise, but also are you effective at communicating problems to an everyday kind of person? Can you guide a customer through an entire process effectively? And can you help train others to teach your skill sets to help enhance our entire team? A year from now, our ops team is a service delivery machine. We are going to be the national go-to partner for all permitting across the country, and we are going to be the leading thought expert on how to effectively permit across the entire country. Construction is always a team effort. No one builds a building by themselves. And so I think when you take all those perspectives into consideration and kind of collaborate on what they all can bring to the table, that's how you get an effective outcome for a project. We have a very collaborative team internally as well, and so we do a lot of cross-training. Our project managers specifically work and onboard a lot of our coordinators and train up-and-coming talent here on the team. And so it's really cool to see engineers working directly with our architects and teaching each other things that they probably typically wouldn't have overlapped on in a traditional construction industry setting. An example of that overlap is working through objections from an AHJ that might have varying components of different trades. And so if we're trying to get through a really difficult permit that has blocks on our building trades and our, let's say, mechanical, electrical, plumbing trades, you would need both in-house industry professionals to kind of come together to resolve the comments for the customer. And so doing that internally, we cross-collaborate all the time to solve problems like that. Designers and builders want to do just that. They want to design and build. And so permitting has always been this underlying administrative task that no one really wants to hold the ball on, and it gets dropped. And so think of GreenLite as your quarterback. We want to be here to pick up the ball and drive it down the field and get you to your goal. A lot of our clients think that the goal of getting a permit is to submit that permit and get it into the jurisdiction. At GreenLite, we believe the goal is to get your permit. And so in order to do that, we spend a little bit more time up front quality checking and assuring that your drawings, your documents are all packaged appropriately, that they're of high quality. And so in order to do that effectively, we spend some more time up front with our clients so that when we do go to the jurisdiction, you're not spending weeks there and you've saved that time effectively by spending some time up front with us. Sometimes customers miss major portions of their permitting process and they don't even realize it. They come to us with a set that they think they're ready to submit with and that they've got all their ducks in a row, and we've identified gaps sometimes in preliminary approvals that are required in order for them to go even submit for their building permit. And so we've worked with many different clients to help identify those types of gaps and what can be a very overwhelming process and kind of help bring them back into exactly how we do things here at GreenLite in a more structured way, so that way we can effectively gather exactly what they need, get all those preliminary approvals in line for us to then go in for their building permit.